Hey, it's Tammy. Welcome to this month's Reformer class, Tops and Tails. When I was a kid, my mom would say, everyone be ready, spot on, tops and tails. And what that meant was be ready for anything, top to bottom, front, back, end to end. And that's what we want out of our Pilates practice, right? We want to be ready for anything that is coming our way. So this month, all of our 50-minute classes are going to look at this theme of tops and tails, and we'll explore that in various ways. For the reformer, what this means is we are going to go from the top, beginning of the order, to the tails, the end of the order, and we're going to alternate exercise groupings back and forth. It's a wonderful way to see how no matter what direction you do the order in, all of the exercises are flowing and building on top of each other. And it's just a fun way to explore some different things through the exercises. You are going to need your Pilates box. You'll need the pole that you normally use with your reformer and some sticky pads just to make sure you're safe at all times. If you have something that you like to use during your practice that makes you feel safe and well supported, by all means add it in. Let's go. Beginning with footwork, about 3 to 4 springs, wherever you normally do your footwork in. We're going to do both turned out and parallel, all 3 foot positions. And let's go for 6 of each. So let's start with that turnout, not too wide. All the toes are on there, heels a little long, and let's get some length. We want to really warm up the body, opening the back, connecting the breath to the fast. Now, when we change to our arches, both feet at the same time, point those toes or reach them forward. Think of reaching your heels a little under the bar to warm up your feet, which in turn translate to everything else in your body. One more here. And now let's extend to the heel, still in that nice turnout. Make sure your heels are secure. Little flexion if you can, because we're going to want that ankle and Achilles nicely warmed up for us. Last 2. And now let's go to a parallel position, starting back at the toes. All 10 toes are on. I have just a little bit of distance between my feet, and let's reach and back in. Try to go so long that you feel your hip flexors extend. Your heels are just high enough that you can feel the hamstrings turn on as well as the fast. All righty, now arches on, and see if you can find that same sensation in the legs. No matter what position your feet are in, are you long? Are you even from foot to foot? One more here. And our last position, let's go to those heels. Should be feeling some nice blood flow going through the body. And I always have a little bit of an issue here whenever I'm doing flexion because my toes are so excited. Yes, yes, let me flex for you. Okay, not too much. And one more coming in. Let's bring the knees in. Hug those shins into the body. Bring the head to meet the knees if that feels good to you. And extension out. We're going to go right into our hundreds. Go ahead and grab your straps or handles or both. I'm feeling like a both today. And let's bring ourselves up and start that pump. You're welcome to leave the legs bent or extend. I'm going to add a little bit of our single bent leg positions, doing a full inhale and exhale on each. And now let's try the double. One more. And bringing that down. And let's go ahead and position those back on. Up we go. All right. So I want you to take your springs down to 1 spring, possibly 1 light spring, because we are going to go to the end, the tail of the order, and we're going to do Russian squat. But we're not going to stand on the bed to them. We're actually going to stand on the floor. So make sure you've got your straps, thumb on top. Prep yourself for that position because it's like holding reins. I'm leaving the foot bar up because it's just a nice place to have something to anchor in. And I'm pulling a little bit so that I can step in here at the spring line. Now, when I was learning Pilates, if you stood in where the springs were, that was called the well. If you stood near the headrest, that was called the boat. So we are in the well. And your feet, just a slight turn out, not too much. And let's start to come down and just hold. Long arms. And do you feel, right? This is the beginning of that position for a Russian squat. Now come up about midway. Let's take one leg, bring it on top of your reformer. And you're going to continue single leg up and down. Now I have a friend who says if you're doing anything single leg, it automatically becomes Bulgarian. Okay, so we're doing Bulgarian single leg squats. Let's do one more on this side and bring that leg down. What's kind of interesting about doing them this way is the next time you do Russian squats on top of the bed, you'll be very aware of if you've been using one leg a little bit more than the other, one arm a little bit more than the other. This is a really nice way to get some, one more, length on your Achilles and your ankle. If you don't normally like being on top of the reformer to do the traditional Russian squat, that's a nice way to build yourself up to it until you feel like you're more stable and in the middle there. All right, let's go ahead and put those on their poles. Grab sticky pad. Let's put it right in the middle here. And I was on one spring. I have moved myself to 1.5 springs because we're going to do Russian splits. And I feel like sometimes having just a little bit more on there gives me more of a sturdy feeling. So as we're coming up onto our reformer, we're going to find that nice high rounded position first. And I'm going to bring my foot back to the corner, straddling the corner so the heel is on, the toes are on. And now my front foot is going to go so that the arch is right over the space between the bed and the headrest. And I'm dropping my hip down, extending my chest forward, and just hold here for a second. Maybe this is just where you stay if this feels comfortable to you. If you want to move on with us, let's try. Reaching out for 3, 2, and 1. And I'm going to go ahead and try and reach the arms up, Superman. And we're going to hold here for 3, 2, 1, bringing that down. Now, I'm going to let my foot go forward a bit more so my heel is towards that break between the headrest and the bed. And I'm going to close the carriage, pike myself up, and reach forward. Now, you do not have to go all the way down into a split. Split is just a suggestion. Find where you can move without rotating your hip backwards. Let's bring that foot in. Close the carriage, both feet, little roundy round chest. Make sure your sticky pad's in a good spot. And now let's reach back with the other foot, straddle the corner. Hands are secure. Step over, arch in space. Lengthen out, drop that leg, hold it here for a second, and then let's extend 3 and 2 and 1. Now find a position you can hold. You can go into long arms, or you can keep your hands right down there. It's all about holding that center, feeling good, not rotating that back hip. Okay, I'm moving my foot forward. I'm going to close the carriage, pull back in, head high and round, and reach out to where my body feels good on this side. Now, I don't have quite as much length, I feel like, when this one goes out, but that's okay. I'm getting there. And closing the carriage, bending again, step this foot back, step this foot in. One last round, because who doesn't love a good round position? And off we go. How'd you do? All right, you can take your sticky away. And you can leave this on 1.5 to 2 springs. We're jumping back to the top of our outline. We're going to go into some overhead and coordination. So headrest is down. If you don't normally do overheads, you can go back to hundreds. You can do series of 5. You can keep your headrest up and just let your legs go up to whatever height is a good height for you. All right, let's get our hands through our handles and straps. And let's extend here. This is going to feel so good after that last grouping that we did